However, unlike in the past, women in Sri Lanka are far more educated than before. They are given the opportunity to learn, and there are more women in schools and universities than men. Yet, despite these changes that have equipped women with skills in education, why does Sri Lanka not have more women in the workforce?
So a lot of women, if you look at our university system, you have more women than men who are in the university system. But quite often, I think kind of social and cultural norms are the reason that women don't necessarily enter the workforce. We stay in the workforce.
In Sri Lankan society, girls and women are treated as some category or vulnerable group of people who need to be protected. So, male counterparts do not like women to be out because they think they are going to be harassed. Keeping women inside and without giving them the opportunity to engage in the activities where they could make a contribution to the betterment of the country is not the answer. I think it's time we educate our boys and men to be respectful of the girls. Unless these attitudes change, I think these barriers will continue and men will always try to protect women, their own women, by keeping them inside. But parallelly, they will continue to harass or even make nasty jokes or vulgar jokes about their peers, their co-workers, their subordinates, ladies in their own environment.
There are many social factors, such as society's structure itself and expectations placed on women, such as their prescribed role in the household, which hold them back from entering the workplace or don't allow them to continue in their chosen career or profession after a certain point in time. So, is this really what makes these women stop working?
When women do start working, one of the reasons, or one of the bigger reasons that they can't often sustain themselves is when they have children, or when their parents or their spouse's parents kind of get older or become sickly. They don't have a support structure that will enable care for those children or for the elderly. And so women are almost always the ones to make that decision, or being told to make the decision to stay back home and to be the caregiver, because also traditionally in Sri Lanka, it is the woman who is seen as a caregiver.
I tried, but personally for me, I made a personal choice to. Actually, I tried, they even offered me to work part-time, but I felt I wanted to spend more time with the children and to give more time to them actually. So that was actually a choice that I made.
Okay. ජොබ් එකෙන් රිසයින් වෙන්න ලොකු බලාපොරොත්තුවක් ඇත්තටම තිබුණ නැහැ. මට ඒකේ උඩට යන්න තමයි බලාපොරොත්තු තිබුණේ. නමුත් පස්සේ මගේ මේ ගෙදර බබාලගේ ප්‍රශ්න මගේ බබාගේ ස්ටඩීස් වලට මම ලොකු මේකක් දෙන්න ඕන නිසා තමයි මම ජොබ් එකෙන් අයින් වුණේ.
While women's economic empowerment also appears as an apparent social issue, it is an institutional issue as well. When the government does not enforce legislature, the people have no incentive to change their mindsets and attitudes, holding women back. So the real question is, how far does Sri Lanka have to go to ensure that there is gender equality in the workplace, as well as when it comes to empowering women economically?
So you have all of these kinds of notions, like theoretically on paper you have it in place, but our processes are failing us, and our processes are also failing us because they are politicized. And so women's kind of rights is then like an aside, is something that is not seen as being central or important. It's like, this is something we will talk about on Women's Day, because then it's important, but for the rest of the year we're just going to ignore all these issues. Mightier Silva 3 years ago at a convention said, yes, we will ratify it. But nothing has happened, because in order to ratify these labour laws, it means that laws in Sri Lanka need to change, and that is a huge undertaking. And I think with how much turmoil there is politically, again, these are things that then take a backstep. And so traditionally, women's rights, children's rights, all of these kind of things that are not seen as immediately necessary is then put onto a back burner. And I think that's where we are failing, because unless we have this support structure built, we're always going to be holding back things that we need to be able to have kind of better systems for.
We need to see more women in decision making structures in this country, because when men are deciding, they are deciding women's contribution from a very protection oriented perspective. We want to create an enabling environment for more women to engage. We need to have women who understand the depth of the problem. We need more women in Pradesh Sabha, Palat Sabha, as well as the national level politics, so that this environment can be changed for everybody.
This is not to say that there aren't women who have been able to balance motherhood and being a career woman as well. Mrs. Shera Hassan shared her experience multitasking being a mother and a banking executive.
I was too busy bringing up the two kids, and I had to really rush back to work, as well as their school meetings, their sports events and all that. My husband was traveling all the time because he was into an export oriented business organization. He used to travel a lot. It's just my maids and me who did everything. I used to drive a lot, taking the kids. But when they started O levels, A levels, I used to wake up very early and prepare everything, and I had just dress up for the whole day.